And welcome back. This one is highly requested. It's to do a League of Legends. We did the story of Faker, and we've not done any more yet, even though we've got our list. It's getting bigger.
It's only down to time, isn't it? Yeah, we're trying.
It is down to time.
We will do them.
Yeah, because we have full-time jobs. Another reason why we started our Patreon, so you can help support us, and we can go full-time doing this all the time.
That's it. And then we get loads more out and be able to cover live games and stuff. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah. All for the future, Kev. So this is called The Story of Caps, and we know he was in the video for Phoenix this week, so it seems quite, there's a good reason why we need to do it.
It certainly is.
With the championships officially tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah, we're going to be watching a bit of that as it goes on. Should we go for it, Kev?
Let's take a look.
Europe is renowned for its mid laners. From the greats of the game's early days,
you can see this coming in there. Pekka is desperately on towards the Nexus. Kevin is going to be able to get towards him. He's trying to do it, but meanwhile they're in the base. Yellow Star's trying to defend them in the base. Pekka is trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one? Catches him with another axe. He's very low on health right now. They're pushing on the Nexus to his fingers. Pekka is back to get it. I do not believe
I think they're a bit hyped for that one, Kev.
Stars like Power of Evil or Featherven.
So the visits into the jungle not as fruitful.
And there's the death mark coming in.
And will it be enough? The pop and the ignites. Featherven,
but that one underwater.
B1's Faker.
And though there have been times where their strength wavered, there has always been another generation of great European mids. And in some ways, it feels like it has all been building up to Caps.
Turret down. Will this be the fight? In goes Licorice, and it's a big bunch of damage. They popped off one, but here comes the backline access. Licorice wants to flash away. It's 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Kills coming across. As
Still trying to get used to how that's all working out at the minute. It's so mental, that.
Yeah. Falls. A massive quadra kill for Caps.
He's a mechanical genius.
Slowly learning the map.
I've already made the statement before that I think he's basically the most mechanically gifted player we have ever sent out of Europe.
He's not afraid to do what's unexpected.
I know I made the statement before that Caps can play everything. I did not expect a mid lane Vayne to be a thing.
That's crazy.
And he's still young. Caps has been a hair's breadth from glory, and he's not done chasing it. This is his story.
The Story of Caps. That's quite an intro on its own.
It is.
Rasmus Caps Winther was born on November 17th, 1999 in Denmark to a family that embraced video games. His older brother Christopher, around a decade his senior, often played games while Caps was a kid, and Caps was entranced. Caps' brother played Dota 2 at a high level under the handle of teams between 2012 and 2017. And while his brother traveled to compete in tournaments, Caps was grinding solo queue in a different MOBA altogether, League of Legends. It was clear from the beginning that Caps was a talented mid laner, and in January 2015, a 15-year-old Caps signed with Enigma Esports, a small multi-gaming org based in Finland. Though Enigma played mostly in small European tournaments, Caps began to make a name for himself for flashy solo queue plays. And though it's not clear exactly when he picked up this nickname, Caps' prowess in solo queue led some of Europe's high elo players to dub him Baby Faker.
I don't remember exactly how it started, but I believe it was when we were playing some of the higher elos on EU was playing together. And as many know, when someone does something cool or something fancy, people will say, "Oh, you're Faker." And then because of my age, I think people started saying like, "Oh, Baby Faker."
Of course, when Faker came to Europe for the 2015 League of Legends World Championship, he encountered a young Caps in solo queue. After the young mid laner sprinkled a little BM into all chat, the greatest player to ever touch the game showed Caps what a full-grown mid laner could do.
Ooh. That didn't take much.
Caps bounced between orgs in early 2016, playing in online tournaments and honing his skills in solo queue. Eventually, he signed with Nerve midway through the summer challenger split.
It's going to be Nerve with Wicked in the top lane, Memento in the jungle, but the new players here, Caps, Upset, and Nukes a lot, all coming in for Nerve to see if they can shake up that lineup a little bit.
Caps' addition was not enough to make up for a weak start. and Nerve finished the season in last place, though Caps did manage to put up a few highlights.
Caps is coming in from the back line. Ashara is onto Joko, and the teleport delivers Kaze. Kaze's going so low.
I've not been in the jungle yet.
The heal comes up very, very good thanks to Subjugate. But Caps gets a kill into Joko. The Celestial Expansion is ticking damage away. That's a triple. That's a quadra. Looking for more. This could be a pentakill. It's secured by Caps on Aurelian Soul.
But in the wake of the Challenger split, Caps moved a little further from home, signing with Turkish LoL team Dark Passage in July to play in their summer split playoffs. With Caps and fellow European jungler Xerxes on the roster, Dark Passage won the TCL playoffs.
Ekstra etkiler geldi bu arada kasıyorlar. Caps'in üzerinde bir hasar var. Şu anda burada bir kişi düşecek. Kim olacak bu? Kim olacak? Kim olacak? Vlad mı kasıyor? Vlad mı kasıyor mu? Kimse düşmedi derken. Caps!
The win would have given Caps a chance to play in the International Wildcard Tournament for a potential spot at Worlds, but he was too young to attend the event.
Oh,
still, his performance in Turkey, coupled with his raw mechanical talent, was enough to attract the attention of a major European org looking to refresh its roster, Fnatic.
I probably would have stayed in school, maybe. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't join Fnatic. Maybe I would join another team, but I'm not really sure.
You're not staying in school.
Caps' place on the team was revealed on a stream in December 2016, and the initial community response was mixed. Caps was a promising up-and-coming player and a solo queue star, but for one of the region's most famous teams, he was an unknown quantity. Fnatic, for their part, were in a bit of a rebuilding period.
Records, that's another one we've had story of.
And for the organization that had once dominated Europe, a new roster with promising talent was an attempt to reclaim their throne. But the first split of 2017 did not belong to Fnatic. They placed third in their group in the regular season and managed a playoff run to semifinals, where they lost to eventual champions G2 Esports.
Burst! Three-man stun! Burst may have just won the game for Fnatic. Keep your eyes on
Had quite a few of them now.
a miracle. The captain, the caller, he can't do it. G2 Esports, they stop Fnatic in their tracks and advance to their third split finals.
It wasn't a return to form exactly for the old kings of Europe, but a third-place finish was a promising start. And though Reckless and Broxah were a big part of their playoff success, Caps was beginning to make a name for himself in the old Grand Arena that is the European mid lane.
Yeah, Caps took a lot of damage. Remember earlier, he used that ultimate just to clear the wave. Perks with an insta-cleanse, running for his life. Caps is going low. Exhaust on the trick, under the tower. Then goes down.
Yeah.
Wow. The exhaust from Caps just saved the day.
He built a reputation as an aggressive laner, and also for picking some unusual mids, from his pocket Aurelian Soul, to Kayle, to Camille.
But he's in the ultimatum right now, blocking damage. They flash in. Reckless throws down the chains of corruption, and it's going to be Caps that follows through.
Quick,
There's a lot of picks that I put in certain scenarios, and I just feel like
I'll pause there a second. I don't get this whole... See, I'm still trying to play the game at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm really, really early into understanding, going through the tutorials, and there's even beginner guides online with YouTube as well. I'm trying to understand that, and it is so immense when you hear about all these. As I said before, you've got 40 billion odd possibilities and all this and all that.
Yeah.
He's mid laner, so why? I mean, he's an aggressive mid laner, but you can still support the top or the bot lane. But why does he not go to? Is he poor at the other two lanes?
Well, that's what I haven't worked out. Yeah, I mean, you've got, as you say, it's a team of 5, but obviously there's quite a big map to look after, isn't there? Which you've got your top and bot lanes and your mid lane. That it needs to be his favourite.
Got to still understand that. Mate, is I know why? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, we'll carry on with this. I'm just intrigued.
I feel confident enough that I can pull it off, even if I don't have too much practice on it. And I think a lot of other players, they realize that the champions are good in those situations, but they maybe don't have the same confidence. Maybe they are more confident in like a smaller champion pool, and something they have practiced a lot of times, right? But I'm more like, I'm ready to play anything.
Heading into the summer split, Fnatic may not have been favorites against the likes of G2 Esports, but they had a shot, and the regular season showed promise. Once again, Caps was a big part of his team's success, and once again, he did it on some unconventional champions.
That's been something he's been playing quite a bit of, especially that Corki.
Oh! So that's Kane top of mid lane.
All right, Fnatic, they're the ones that take that away to start things off.
That's going to be Caps. He's the kind of guy to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, why not?
After a turbulent spring split, Fnatic were sitting in first place in Group A by the end of the summer, ahead of both G2 and Misfits.
Obviously, best form Fnatic's been in, arguably the best team in Europe, expected to make finals. Is that extra pressure? Is that really difficult?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely gives pressure, but I like pressure, I think. And as I told Finlay when I joined the team, my goal to win Fnatic is to win Worlds, so yeah.
Fnatic entered their semi-final match as heavy favorites against
got the chance
Misfits.
this year, and
But
they're still in
Misfits
there.
were not the same team that they had been in the regular season. And the series did not go as Fnatic
As far as I know,
expected.
Europe, everyone says Europe are coming back into this. That divide, that gap of West and East is closing together.
The strength of European players is getting better.
They might just lose the fight right here. The damage is real, and that is going to be it. A double kill from PoE. Fnatic falling to the hands of Misfits. And for this team, things are looking oh so good as they close out Fnatic. Raid boss down, and it's a date with destiny.
Yeah, that's going down. That's going.
After a split full of promise, it was a disappointment. Fnatic didn't win the summer split. They didn't even make it to the finals. Of course, their season wasn't over. Fnatic took down H2K in a close third-place match that earned them the top seed to the regional gauntlet. There, they would once again face off against H2K. And this time, Caps and company secured a spot at Worlds in dominant fashion.
Caps, he was confident going into this game here, and this was one of the most one-sided BU5s I've seen in a long time here in Europe.
Fnatic made it out of the play-in stage at Worlds 2017 fairly convincingly, but it would be anything but smooth sailing. Fnatic lost.
Gigabyte Marines are going to take the game!
Right in the group
Taking
stage.
down the third seed from Europe, a first blow for Vietnam.
Again?
I don't think they can do this. 650 interrupted.
No.
They're gonna lose. Fnatic, they can't commit to this. IMT, they're gonna win the game. The turrets are exposed. This could be bad news. The turrets are gonna fall. IMT force Fnatic out, and they win another slobber knocker.
And again.
We talked about how good Longzhu were, how dominant they could be. The shortest game of Worlds thus far. The dancing Rift Herald encapsulating everything that was this game.
Is it consistency,
because to me, it felt like
or is it
Fnatic
just
didn't even
other
get to
teams
play
are getting
League of
that
Legends.
much better?
Longzhu were just one step ahead at every turn.
It was a devastating start to the tournament for a group of players who entered groups feeling confident. They entered the second week in do-or-die mode. And in their first game against tournament favorites Longzhu Gaming, things only got worse. Fnatic put up a fight, but were no match for Longzhu's well-oiled aggression. At 0-4, Fnatic found themselves in a must-win situation, and they would need some help. After all, no one had ever started 0-3 and made it out of groups, let alone 0-4. But thanks to the Gigabyte Marines beating Immortals, Fnatic had a chance. And in their next match against Immortals, they netted a much-needed win.
3v4, Immortals forced to run away, but Fnatic, they want this one. The chain forward.
That's not the way they run away.
Yeah, he's well 4 against.
4 against 3, yeah.
3 there, and that. Well, 2.
Betrays his teammate, and it's going to be the ace for Fnatic.
Cody's son loses his mind by flashing into an entire team at the end.
They work well as a team, that's the thing, ain't
Got to
it?
get to the next.
Then, they won their next game.
Broxah gets the kill on the cannon. Everybody's flashed in. Archie, the only one left is Broxah. Finds the final execute with the ulti. And Fnatic, they needed to win, and they have done it.
And thanks to what can only be described as a world's miracle, Fnatic found themselves in a 3-way tie with Immortals and the Gigabyte Marines. Fnatic would have to play a mini gauntlet to get out of the group. One loss would
mini
spell the end of
gauntlet.
their time at Worlds. The game against Immortals was a convincing affair. Then came Vietnam's surprisingly successful Gigabyte Marines.
Still going in again, say it. No one to make it, but the Nexus is open. No way. Makes his way back in, but he's not gonna do it. Cap finds a clutch play, and Fnatic do the unthinkable and make their way to the quarterfinals. Still close. Optimus forced the shockwave. The wave has to go in, and there it is.
They won the game, completed an absolutely remarkable run, and secured a berth to quarterfinals.
It is a miracle. No team has ever gone 0-3 in week 1 and made it. You won 4 straight games today to make it, Caps. How do you feel? Do you feel like you deserved it?
I think the first thing I feel is I feel really tired at this point.
It might have just been a berth to the top 8, but for a group of players who'd become so accustomed to almosts and what-ifs, it was proof that Fnatic could compete on the international stage. But the quarterfinals against China's Royal Never Give Up were another heartbreak.
Reckless struggling to get up, and we heard it, emotional
Oh,
words.
yeah. That don't look very good, does it?
He actually said, "This might be my last Worlds."
And it is the Summer Split MVP of the ULCS who missed the final in the ULCS. Moved on to Worlds though because they won the Gauntlet.
Still, their Worlds berth had gone better than anyone had thought was possible after their first week of the group stage. Fnatic went home wounded, but with their heads
I
held
wonder why
high.
he thought it was going to be his
Of
last.
course, through it all, Caps' performance in the mid
definitely
lane
in
wasn't
this
the
year's,
only
aren't
thing shining through. So was his big personality.
I am the master of shadows.
Are you? The unseen blade is the deadliest.
Secrets kept are weapons. Wait, how is it?
Caps is all business on the Rift, but out of game, he's almost always smiling. The offseason saw relatively few changes for the org as they picked up another promising rookie as a top lane sub, Bwipo, and replaced Jesses with Hylissang. 2018 saw Fnatic hit the ground running, rolling through the spring split with a 14-4 record, earning them the first seed heading to the playoffs. Throughout the split, Caps had begun to distinguish himself as more than just a promising mid laner, more than just someone willing to pick wild, off-meta champions. He'd cemented himself as one of Europe's strongest mid laners. Along with Perks, Caps had begun to ascend to the lofty heights of Europe's great mids.
I mean, Caps is just one of the most exciting guys to play because he's just so passionate.
Quick shot Henry. Where do they get these names from?
He's incredibly emotional. And when you see this guy win or lose, you get everything.
His performance in the regular season earned Caps a spot on the All-Pro team, while Reckless seized season MVP. Fnatic entered the playoffs confident and hungry. And this time, they wouldn't let the trophy slip through their grasp.
And for the first time in 2 years, Fnatic advanced to the finals.
And it's fair to say that Caps was confident going into the grand finals.
Get a load of that for an audience behind him.
This Caps, you were really tilted off Perks' words yesterday. You're so angry. So how is that going to translate onto the Rift? What are you going to do to Perks in Copenhagen?
I'm going to smash him so hard that he's going to think that it's an international tournament.
The grand finals wound up being a one-sided affair.
No TP on support for the rest of GG. Oh, Caps! He just solo killed Perks!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an international event as Caps smacks Perks.
Oh my word!
It was Caps' first domestic title and would earn him a spot at MSI.
Surely that one ain't that heavy.
That's a little bit small, Still very nice to win.
Mid-season Invitational was the first test for this revamped Fnatic roster on the world stage, and they came up somewhat wanting.
Serve and win here for Fnatic. They're not celebrating yet. They know there's still so much of MSI being played for them, but the criticisms went team-wide. Caps had a down day, Reckless a down tournament. They turn it around when they need to.
Hammering down on an Nexus, but that is game, and RNG will move on to the finals. 3-0 against Fnatic. RNG have to feel good about finding that win. They looked good in their wins. It wasn't perfectly clean, but at the same time, their team fight execution, their ability to stall out and play to win conditions was well demonstrated.
Still, the tournament was further proof that Caps could compete with the world's best.
Prey is going to flash to safety, manages to escape with his life. The Ignite is ticking down. Here comes a heroic entrance, and Gorilla escapes with his life. Caps gets one. Oh, Caps' Yasuo is beautiful.
The summer split was a turbulent time for Fnatic, with Reckless choosing to bench himself for much of the mage-heavy meta.
Wow.
With Bwipo playing alongside Hylissang in the bot lane, Fnatic relied on Caps to be their primary carry, a contrast to their 2017 style.
I think we were very set on a style where we were just hard carrying bot lane in 2017, which obviously made it so that I didn't have the resources to perform as good as I want to be. But like next year we started playing more around mid, and I got to show what I can do as well.
And he didn't let them down. From dominating performances on meta champions.
Bwipo staying alive, now ignited. He's going to get burned to death. On the left of your screen, Smitty J picks up a kill under the tower. Here comes Caps. There's a party. Everybody's invited. Everybody's going to die. It's a double for Caps. Soaz picks up his third of the fight.
To his classic unorthodox choices.
Corki again. Yeah, good Corki again. Whoa! That's a Vayne mid lane. Into a Galio? I know I made the statement before that Caps can play everything. I did not expect a mid lane Vayne to be a thing.
That's crazy.
Caps picked up Summer Split MVP, and Fnatic cruised into a playoff run that felt inevitable. And in Barcelona, they claimed their second.
See, that's actually quite an interesting thing there, because when you see down the side of the screen all the different champions that they're going to be against in their particular lanes, we've not even dived into that part of it, because there's 140 odd champions.
And I can almost see where that's kind of his secret, is the fact that he's learnt more of the unusual ones, because there's 140 at least.
I don't know. Was that Vayne or was that an unusual one? I don't know.
Well, that's what they were saying, that he's playing more unusual characters, champions. So maybe, Fnatic that might know all the general normal ones quite well. You get an unusual one, you can't know everyone's every move. So it might be just his trick, is that he's really learnt some of the unusual
That is clever. It's a learning game. It's a learning process on its own.
It's strategy game, isn't it? It's such a strategy game.
And it's even a strategy before they've got into the battle. That's the clever thing I'm loving about that.
Yeah, I like that idea, that you come in as someone totally unusual and different and still wipe the floor, which...
Plenty of possibilities there. Oh, let's carry on.
Exciting.
EU LCS title, earning themselves a world's berth.
The team plays around him. He is the star player on Fnatic. It's not Reckless. It is really all about Caps. And because his performance at MSI, especially in the group stage, was so strong, and in my opinion was the best out of the mid laners, I'm not scared that he can't perform against international players, which is always one of the big questions when you have a hyped up
Western player.
Fnatic entered Worlds confident that they could escape their group in first place, and they got off to a good start.
This kind of hurts Rikara a little more than it does Reckless, because in the 1 versus 1, what a great stun. Caps looking for it, does put the Vanguard's edge. Flash forward, that's a solo kill. Caps does it in style.
First blood,
They hit a bit of a snag against Invictus Gaming, but they kept it together and won every other group stage game they played, including a rematch against Invictus Gaming that forced a tiebreaker for first place in their group. And though it was close, Fnatic pulled it off.
They take down IG not once, but twice, and they end the game in emphatic fashion. The fountain dive and the triple kill for Caps.
Fnatic's quarterfinal opponents were Edward Gaming, a team that had shown some promise in groups, but which most analysts thought Fnatic could overcome. They did, queuing up a historic semifinal bout against Cloud9, guaranteeing a Western team in the grand finals for the first time since Season 1. Given the caliber of opponents both Cloud9 and Fnatic had defeated, it looked set to be a close back-and-forth series. It was anything but.
5v3, and the last hope for the West will be Fnatic, the kings of the West, the kings of Europe. It's going to be Fnatic looking to knock it down in the 5v3 to get those last few kills.
They're being knocked down, aren't they?
And a shotgun on the
Wow.
Caps. A few more seconds fought, but look at the blade color. It's everyone dead. Fnatic are the kings of the West, and they will represent in the World Final.
Fnatic swept Cloud9 in a match that cemented them as the greatest Western team at the tournament. And one superfan in particular was very proud to have seen it.
Caps' dad, welcome. There we go. Wow. So your son is having a bit of trouble realizing that he wants to stay calm. What can you say about the fact that he's made it to the final?
Wow, it's EU made to the finals, and this first time ever. I don't have all the histories, but I know that this is amazing. And he played actually so damn well, so I could kick the ball. So yeah, you're so good.
On the other side of the bracket, Invictus Gaming had defeated tournament favorites KT Rolster in a shocking 5-game series, then similarly dispatched their semifinal foes G2 3-0. Two underdogs, neither of them Korean, in a grand final for the first time since Korea got a server in 2012.
Wow.
Neither of them were expected to make it this far, but both were ready to make history.
This is the best chance I'll ever get. Now that I'm here, I feel like I want it more than ever, and I don't think IG has the same sort of fire that we do.
But in Game 1, it was clear that this was not the same Invictus Gaming that Caps and Fnatic had defeated in groups.
And they will push now onto both Nexus turrets, onto Nexus itself, and they will lead this series 1-0.
And Games 2 and 3 didn't go any better.
He can run away, but the Nexus cannot. It'll be brought down, and that's IG.
Goes down so quick when there's a team.
All round it. Didn't go that quick for me in my tutorial.
No.
But that will change today. The Crownless are finally king, and Invictus Gaming are your 2018 World Champions.
It was a devastating loss that few had expected to be as one-sided as it was. History for China, but heartbreak for Europe. It hit Fnatic hard, but they returned to Europe as the most successful Western team in modern League of Legends history.
Okay,
still, Caps has trouble giving that finals a positive spin.
Well, they didn't win.
I feel like
They didn't win, but
I always find like there's a one winner, right, and everyone else loses.
They had to win a
So
lot
in that
to get
sense, it doesn't mean that much to me because I at the end of the day I lost, right? And the only thing it means to me is that we proved that we can beat anyone, and it gives us more confidence in the sense that we believe even more that we can beat everyone next time we play internationally. But in terms of like accomplishment, I feel like we lost, you know.
Caps, for his part, has ascended. He'd climbed not just to the upper echelon of Europe's famous mid laners, he'd made a case for himself as the greatest among them, perhaps the greatest ever from Europe. But he'd also decided it was time for a change.
G2.
So I was looking for a lot of teams, and I thought G2 looked the most interesting. I feel like their playstyle is very, like they play the same kind of way that I want to play. They have like a very aggressive mindset, and they are okay with making mistakes as long as they're like proactive.
With Perks swapping to AD carry in perhaps the wildest trade in Europe's history, Caps will not be wearing a Fnatic jersey in 2019.
The move from Fnatic to G2, the fact that Perks has gone to AD carry, it's a bold
game,
but in his own words, he doesn't want to be comfortable, he doesn't want to be complacent. He's going for the big move, he's going for the risky play. Just like his gameplay on the Rift, he's making decisions about his teams, and time will tell if it pays off.
Caps is young but decorated, inexperienced but seasoned. He's a big personality, but his reputation is starting to outgrow him. He's a mechanical prodigy in the grand tradition of the game's greatest stars. And like those that came before him, Caps has proven himself on the game's biggest stages early in his career. He's faced down legends, defeated some, and been swatted aside by others. But Caps' story is far from closed. His first 2 years in Europe have given the West hope they can compete on the world stage. They've given him 2 domestic titles. but his best years may well be ahead of him. And through it all, he's kept on smiling.
Quite happy, bubbly chap, ain't he?
yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
That we've actually got to learn a little bit more. I mean, these story offs, there's quite a few of them out there, and we've had a load of requests, so thanks for that. It's great that we actually get to see a little bit more in depth about each individual person and how they've become, where they're probably even heading.
That's it. It's like a fast track to learning all about him, because obviously it took him years, but that's like all crammed into.
Well, he's not been around that long, has he? As I said, a couple of years or so, and he's still inexperienced, but he's done so much in that time.
He's learned a lot, and his reputation is almost sort of before him, isn't it? Because he's already. I mean, obviously, we know about him.
Up there now as one of the world's best mid laners, or certainly Europe's finest player, full stop. Or he's going to be cemented in that history. He's got so much of a future ahead of himself.
The fact that he's gone from Fnatic to G2 just shows how respected he must be by the other teams.
Fingers crossed for Caps to finally bring home the big one. Let us know anything else. You've probably got a load more that you can add in the comments. By all means, we'll be reading them as always. Other than that, a big thank you for joining us if you're still here. And we'll see you all soon.
Catch you on the flip side.